This
Basically, it's a
conference will
cloud.
now be recorded.
And in this one, finance, I'm talking about the, because we are taking the course as finance, Workday Finance. And if you see the finance module, we have different steps in this, like a different categories in this one. You can say fiscal schedule, account posting rule, account payables, financial institution, and account receivable. These are the modules which I'm going. In fact, I will cover asset module also. One more module I need to add here, asset module, that I'll explain you. So, as part of the Workday Finance, I'll be covering the initially the fiscal schedule. You know, right? What is fiscal schedule? Generally, in as part of the finance or accounts, normally we call about we talk about the finance, talk about fiscal schedule or fiscal year. Okay. Fiscal generally, if we talk about the India, we normally follow the fiscal year as starts from the April 1st to, like say, if it is a 2024 and 25 fiscal year, then it will start from 2024 April 1st and ends with the 2025 March, like that. That is as per the India is concerned. That is our fiscal year. But in if you go to the America and UK countries, they follow January to December. So if the fiscal year of 2024 means it starts from January 1st to ends with the December. So it depends from country to country. It may be any country, whether it's a European country or Asian country or anything. So we normally companies will follow the fiscal year, basically from January to December or April to March, like that. Depending upon the company structure, we will be designing the fiscal year, and that will be. So this fiscal year also consisting of the fiscal posting rules. There are some fiscal periods are there. How fiscal periods are created, how fiscal year is created, how to create the initial fiscal year or last fiscal year or current fiscal year. Those things will be covered under this fiscal schedule and total structure. And whenever I'm talking, you might have already understand, I'm talking about the company. So why I'm talking about the company once it comes to the finance? So, so you might be knowing, whenever we are talking about the HCM, we talk about organizations, isn't it? Whenever we are talking about the HCM, we talk about the organizations. We call it supervisor organization. Why supervisor organization? We'll be hiring an employee into supervisor organization, and we'll be putting his details in the organization. So whenever you are whenever you are recruiting an employee, we will be appointing him employee under the supervisory organization. So that is about the HCM. So whenever you talk about the Workday HCM, there we talk about the organization, supervised organization. But once it comes to the finance, we talk about the company. Okay, there is only difference. In HCM, we talk about the supervised organization. Once you come to the finance, we talk about the company. So why company means company will have the tax code. Because why tax code is required? Because whenever we are doing the transactions for a company, whether it's a inbound or outbound transactions, we need to pay tax to the government. So whether it's a salary or service or any product, in that case, we need to pay the tax to the government. So that's why any company will have some tax code. If you talk about the India, it will be here. In America, we have the different tax structure. India, we have different tax structure. How the tax structure is attached to the company, those will be covered in the uh, account posting rule and tax structure. So in the account posting rule, normally what, for example, we have different types of accounts. Let's say sales account and customer account, like that. Whatever bills we are paying, whatever bills we are taking, that will be posting into individual structures. So the details will be covered into the account posting rule. And account payable means, generally what do you understand about the account payable? Account payable nothing but a supplier. So whenever company wants to buy an item, that item will be supplied by a supplier, and once the item comes to us, we'll take the item and we'll create an invoice and all. So those are account payable means nothing but a supplier related activities. And this financial institution is another topic in the finance module, where I'll be showing the how to create the banks and rules and all. So account receivable is nothing but the customer. So this we call it as AP, Account payable we call it as a AP, and account receivable we call it as a AR. So AP and AR, similarly financial institution, account posting rule, fiscal. So that I just given another structure here. So once you hear, so I was talking about the fiscal schedule. This is the first topic in the finance model, fiscal schedule. So what will be there in the fiscal schedule means it got fiscal year, it's got fiscal periods and posting intervals, ledgers. You generally when whoever got the accounts background, they know what is ledger. This is a detailed structure of the detailed structure of the transactions. So that will be there in the ledger. So how to create ledger? What type of ledgers are there? Physical ledger or any posting ledger. So that details will be explained as part of the ledger. And posting rules, I told you, because we have generally cost centers will be there. Everywhere, what is the transaction we are preparing, the transaction has to be posted into one account. Okay. So how to create account sets, how to create accounts, because we have the account sets creation. Generally, we have five types of account sets in Workday: liability accounts and fiscal. The five types of account sets are there in Workday. That how to create different types of accounts and how to post the accounts. All these things will be explained as part of the posting intervals. So this basically the posting intervals tell us for creating the accounts: asset account, liability account, spend account. So these are the different types of accounts are available in Workday. Basically five types are there, and how to create these five types of accounts and how to post the ledger into that individual accounts, that will be explained in the posting intervals. And I know fiscal period I already told. Fiscal period nothing but January, February, March. So January to December, like that, depending upon the fiscal year, whether to January to December or January, April to March, that will be decided. That will be created in the fiscal periods. So how to create fiscal periods and how to create fiscal year, this will be explained as part of the fiscal schedule, which is in the part of the finance model. So then I was already talking about the account posting rules, because whatever they say, some whenever we have the company, we have different types of accounts, because salary is there. For example, for employee salary, we'll create one account, one cost center, and post all the transactions into that account. So yeah, once the employee is hired in a company, in an organization, he'll be allotted with the one cost center, because what are the salaries are paying to to that employee will be posted into the that cost center. So that the how to create the cost centers and how to post the transactions into the cost center will be explained in the account posting rule. Of course, with the tax structure. So all these details will be attached to the company, because whenever we are talking about the finance module, it will be company itself. So I'll pause here. You have any little bit doubts, you can ask me before going to next topic in this one on. Yeah. Okay. I'll go to next topic. So the next is this one. So this is most important. Normally, in a company, people, these companies will recruit employees only on APs. Just like I told you, it's actually AP in our currency. So one of your, you know, person role is working on IPs. So account payable. Account payable is one model. It's also one model. It's a big model only. This I will be explaining. In this one, I'll be explaining about the suppliers. Means how to create supplier and how to create a supplier item and how to create a supplier invoice and settlement. Obviously, so this also covers the creating purchase orders. Okay, because supplier will be there, what are supply items are there, how to create the requisition, how to create the purchase order, and how to create the invoice, how to settlement. So normally this process will be first supplier, then supplier item, then supplier invoice, then settlement. This is generally this process in AP. So as part of this finance module, I'll be explaining about the first AP. This nothing but account payable. In that one, I'll be telling how to create the supplier, how to create the supplier item, and how to post the supplier item details, and how to create the invoice and settlement. Okay, these all topics will be covered in the account payable. Okay, that is nothing but the AP. So then comes to the another one, which is account receivable. So once you understand clearly about the account payable AP, then This AR is exactly reverse. That means in account payable, we are means company is buying the item and paying the money to the supplier. In the account payable, company will be sending requisition, creating purchase order, and buying the item for the company purpose, and in turn paying them money to the supplier. But in case of the account receivable, here company will be creating an item, that is sales item, and selling to the customer and getting the money into your account. Here account will go, here account will come. So here it is receivable, there it is payable. So it is debit, this is credit. Like that. So how debit and credit happens, what is the account details, that I'll be explaining as part of this course. But as of now, we should just put in clear mind that we have two separate modules, basically AP and AR module. AP is always deal with the supplier. Whenever you're talking about AP, we'll talk about the supplier. Whenever you're talking about the customer, it is nothing but the AR. Generally, we call it as AR, account receivable. So this I'll be explaining as part of the AR. Okay. Then once come to the, so every time see, even if you see here settlement in the account payable, and in here also settlement. Whenever you talk about the AP, we have settlement. Whenever you talk about the AR, there are settlement is there. Why the settlement actually? Because whether we are buying item or we are selling item, the amount has to be settled. Amount has to be settled through bank or through cash. Settlement will happen through the bank or through the bank, in the sense through bank, whether check or direct deposit. What are the procedure adopted by the company, that will be there. And what are the details we are talking, that also. So settlement means nothing but the settlement through the bank or by or cash or credit, like that. So this settlement will happen through the financial institution. So this is must for any company creating a bank, and banking rule, whether it's a IBAN or posting rules, the all details, creating a financial institution, creating account number, creating bank posting rule, bank routing rule, and whether it's a IBAN, international bank account, or any types of posting, different, like let's say it's a debiting or crediting. These rules will be how to create, and all this will be explained as part of the financial institution. So this basically talk about the settlement. Whenever you have AR and AP, there we have the settlement. That settlement will happen through the financial institution, nothing but a bank. That I will explain is part of the financial institution, how to create and all. Then come about the asset management. This is the last module what will be covered in the financial part of the financial module. So asset means we have the asset. We how to create the asset book, how to maintain the assets, what are the depreciation rules are there, how to create the depreciation. So now in the as part of the asset module, asset management module in the Workday, I'll be covering how to create asset book, how to maintain the assets, how to maintain the depreciation, and how to create the depreciation rules. Okay. This will be covered as part of the asset management. So in general, the finance module of this one will have this one. Once again, I'll tell you so that you can clearly understand. So once you talk about the Workday Finance, this will consisting of fiscal schedules, this I will be covering, account postings I will be covering, account payable I will be covering, and financial institution I will be covering, account receivable, and asset management. So these are the topics will be covered as part of the finance module. And of course, in this one I'll be covering little bit integrations also. Whenever integrations comes for posting tools and all, that also I'll be covering as part of this one. Okay. So this is brief about the finance model. Of course, it's a big model, but even if people does not have the accounts background, they also can learn. It's very easy. But I told you, Workday is not that difficult compared with SAP and other modules. Workday is very easy. Only thing is we need to put some concentration whenever you are learning. So slowly start with them. So because once I talk about the fiscal schedule, fiscal here, you practice it, how to create the fiscal schedule and all. So there you'll understand about what is the fiscal periods and how periods are created and how posting intervals are there, what are the account posting rules, and what are the standard rules are there for the accounts. Like corporate standard rules are there and standard corporate rules are there. So these rules are delivered rules. Normally, what are the delivered rules are there from Workday that only companies will follow. We don't want to go for a separate rules, create ourselves. 90% what are the rules are created and delivered from Workday, that only company will follow. So that is for them very easy. So the settlement will be easy for them. So that's why the delivered rules only normally follow. Maybe standard corporate rule or standard corporate. We have different rules that I'll really, while you are talking about the topics, I'll tell you. But normally we follow the delivered rules from the Workday. So this is the topics what I am covering. You can say APAR and asset management as per the fiscal schedule and fiscal year. Okay. I'll pause for the questions now before going to the next topic. Yeah, guys, any questions you can raise now.
What about procurement? What it is exactly?
Yeah. So I was talking about the AP, right? Account payable. I was talking about the account payable. So that
Generally,
is
I'm
what I.
asking procurement.
Yeah,
Yeah.
correct. Yeah, correct. So, for example, if the company wants to buy an item, then it's about purchasing an item, isn't it? So, purchasing item will be through some supplier. Somebody has to supply the item to the company so that that item will be purchased by us. So that's the procurement. So procurement is a part of the account payable. We procure the item, we create the invoice and settle the payment. So your procurement comes under the account payable module,
Okay.
right? How procurement is processed, how what is the creating the indent requisition, then getting the supplier and creating the statement, then releasing purchase order, and item will come to and enter the item into the records, then create the invoice, then settlement corrections. Say sometimes invoice, for example, if the item supplied by the supplier is not proper, then we can deduct some amount from him, or you can delete the don't pay the amount like that. So all these rules will be there in the AP that I will be explaining part of that. Got it?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Any other questions?
Anything about commitment accounting?
Commitment.
I think
No,
is it?
actually, sir, tell me.
Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah.
No, you are telling something. You tell me. I'll explain. No, no issue.
No, is there something related to commitment accounting? Is what I wanted to
Yeah. Normally, yeah, I'll tell you. Generally, whenever you are talking about the commitment, for example, let's say we have while creating the ledgers, we have one item called where we'll put some item as a future payments, generally future payment. Say for example, if we say we have an equipment for that AMC we need to pay. In that case, we'll put certain amount as a future payable item. That means that item, for example, some X amount is there that has to be paid in the next April. Then we'll put as that item as separate item where future payments will be cleared. So the future payments will be separately declared in the accounts. That will be whenever that date comes, automatically that amount will be cleared. So these are actually future payment details. This will be explained as part of the where it is? Ledgers. Here, in this it will be explained. Okay, that is future payments. We know that the actually called as accrued amount. One word is called accrued. Accrued in the sense we know that amount has to be paid in the month of April or May. Then that amount will put as accrued amount, accrued invoice. and that accrued invoice will be cleared once the time comes. So that is actually future payments. You can call it as accrued one item. Yeah. So this will be covered under the while creating ledgers, while creating AP and AR also. Every time this accrued amounts will come. That I'll explain. Any other questions? Yeah, please.
In Workday, do we have like controlling concept also, Ganesh? Like something
Control.
casting something,
Yeah, yeah.
material casting, those kind of thing also we have.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll tell you. See, it's a good question actually. It is a normally what happened. Say for example, uh, we have different roles while creating the finance. Like we have accountant, we have manager, and all. For example, if a accountant is entering the data, say he is clearing the invoice, so they will put a control for the account. We call it a control account. So in this one, what happens is, say if the amount is more than 500, for example 500 USD, then it should go to the manager of the company to clear that invoice. So that is a control should be. So the controls is must everywhere. Not only it says in general you talk about if a accountant passes the bill which is about 1 lakh USD, then it is not advisable, right? So every role has got some restriction. Every account set got some restriction. So that restrictions will be already there while creating the you know account posting rules. See, here it is. In the account posting rules, we'll put the control account. I mean, controlling the let's say initially it is, for example, we are doing some cash transactions. Cash transaction should be limited to the $100, for example, $100 only. If it is a more than $100, then it should go for the checks or direct deposit like that. So that controlling of the account set will be there in the account posting rules. So that I'll be. So control account, basically the control account will be there to control the amount to be receivable or payable. So while talking about the AP and AR, I'll tell you how, while creating the account posting rule, I'll tell you how the control account will be created. So this is part of the subject. Initially it will be confusing for you, but while I am doing the posting rules and all, that time you will easily understand what is the control account, what is control amount for that particular account set, like that. So that will be explained. Is that what you are asking to me? Uh, Maybe initially it will be confusing for you, but
Yes, yes, Ganesh.
while creating, yeah, while creating only it will be easy for you. Yeah, it is normal, for any it's just company is very small or big, we must have a lot of controls on the accounts. Financially, companies will not live just like that. We cannot pay the amounts. It's not that easy. So whenever we are clearing the bill, whenever you are purchasing an item, every stage will put controls, lot of controls. Generally, standard corporate controls are there, which is delivered set from the workday. There, clearing the bills or passing the bills or receiving the bills and all, every stage we have the account posting rules and controls. So that controls will be there. You'll be understanding while I'll creating the account posting rule, how it is posted and how the account is controlled and where the amount is posted, where the amount is posted, like that. So while creating ledger only, certain controls are there. While creating invoice, certain controls there. Even line level controls also there. You can create line level controls everywhere. For example, you say I have certain items. I have already 5 items in my company, which is there in the stock, in stock. But again, if I want to go purchase another 5 items, then your system will not, your requisition will not be passed because already stock is there 5 items. Don't allow to purchase, like that. So while creating in the requisition only, the control will be there. But that control we have to put initially. Say for example, if we should maintain some stock with us. If it's a product-based company, we have to maintain some stock with me. If the stock is not there tomorrow, if the stock is not there, then I should not stop my product. That's why Everywhere, the controls like minimum stock has to be maintained, how to maintain minimum stock, and how to line level control. Those will be covered as part of the account receivable or account payable also. Of course, finance is a very big model, but controlled model in the Workday. So everywhere, every stage, every line level, every field level, controls are there. How to create custom validations, how to create the validations, that I'll be telling as part of this course. Basically, colors of validations. Certain validations Workday will deliver, and in certain validations, custom means we can create our own validations at the line levels. How to create and how to attach that validations also I'll explaining as part of this course. Yeah, any other questions?
Inventory comes out here. And is it a
Uh,
separate thing?
yeah. I told about this asset right? Management. Generally, in the asset management only, inventory will be covered. How the item will be covered, how the stock will be maintained. So this will be there as part of the asset management. So normally, generally Workday, what they are doing, whenever you are buying an item, while creating the invoice, some checkboxes will be there. So it has to come to the stock. It has to come to the inventory for us. It has to be in our stock. So how to maintain stock means the maintaining stock also as a part of the creation. So whenever you are creating the invoice, there are certain rule. Whenever you're creating the supplier item, while creating the this supplier purchase item, so here only we have some controls. So this control will tell us to the asset management, stock management, how to add and all. Okay, interlink. That's why after API and this is the asset management is controlled by the uh, AP account payable. That's about inventory one. And that also, as I told, see, I should have certain inventory with me. If my inventory is exhausting, then I should get some alerts. So that also can be maintained. If my inventory is exhausted, then I should get some alert to the concerned person. So that controls will be there while maintaining the API. So these are the part of the model I'll explain you. Don't worry. Yeah. Any other questions?
Ganesh, do we have anything called grants, like where it was a module in PeopleSoft? So is it anywhere involved in Workday?
Stock grants.
Yeah, it's like project costing, contracts, research activities,
Generally, yeah, the
or
costing will be there. Yeah, tell me.
or reconciliation.
Budget reconciliation.
Yes, yes, yeah.
Yes, that is there. So I'll tell you. So what are the questions you are raising? It comes into AP in reconciliations. So here, when that actually the estimations and all separately will be prepared, and that we need to pay. So because you say if it's a whether it's a receivable for so costing is nothing but we need to pay to the supplier who are doing the transactions for us. So that may be AP or the even that comes under AR also. Because see, if we are preparing a project cost and giving to the customer, then he has to pay for us. So in that case, it becomes to the AR. Okay. The reconciliation, account reconciliation is part of the AP and AR. Okay. This will be covered. Account reconciliation will be there, and project costing also will be there. That will be covered in the while talking about the AP and AR. These
Got it.
controls are
Thank you.
there. Yeah. Yeah. Any other questions? We got only 2 minutes left over.
How is this, Ganesh? Because you have worked earlier on HCM and also on financials. How do you compare this vice versa? I think it's in magnitude it is much bigger than HCM, or if you can speak about that as such.
Uh, if you talk like that, HCM is a bigger one because moving to the HCM side, Workday HCM side is easy for the companies because they can maintain the payroll and personal details and all. That is easy. But finance, it's a big model and a huge cost also. It's not that HCM they can get it budget wise less, but finance model it is a costly one, and yeah, it is already in the it's in a peak stage now actually because we are not getting people actually. Even I'm for the last 1 year I'm trying for the recruiting finance guys, but believe me, nobody, no proper person is coming. All are fake people, and they don't know even how to create the invoices and how to create the supply. So like requirement is huge because a lot of companies are moving now to the finance side, but the resources are very less. We have the people, but we don't have the proper knowledge. But one thing is there is the person who got some background about the accounting. For him, it is very easy. You can easily cope up and understand. But I'm telling you, in finance, people are there for AP only. They can do only AP transactions. Is the account payable specialist, we call it as. That job's also there. Similarly, AR also there. AR also there, and some asset people also there. So openings are huge, and it's improving a lot compared to the HCM. Finance is less, but now it is improving a lot. You'll get a lot of openings in coming months. That mean a lot of companies are moving now, in especially Europe countries, because of the standard. Workday is a secured cloud software, so it's not that easy to crack it or any to do any fault, do any mischief with the work. That's why they believe that's why they are moving. So in that case, coming years, finance will have a lot of openings, and people are also less in the market. Yeah.
Okay, Ganesh, see how core HCM is the mother module for HCM. Is there which is the core module out here in finance?
Yeah, I told you whenever you're talking about the HCM, we talk about the organization, supervised organization. So, and once you come to the finance, you talk about the company. We need to create the company and company code like that. See, while talking about the finance, for talking about the HCM, we'll try to create the supervisor organization and recruitment model and location like that. But here, once you talk about the finance, we need to create the company. That is a must.
That
So
I
we'll
got.
always talk about.
So maybe I should phrase it different. What are the key modules per se? In HCM, we have core HCM benefits and recruitment, something like that. Are there any 2-3 modules which are highly in demand? The initially companies what they implement at first, do they need all of this account? Obviously, they need some of these key modules, right? Which are the ones they go in for us?
Initially, they go for the AP and AR. Both they will go because if it's a product-based company, then they go for AR model initially because they have to sell the product. If it's a service-based company, they implement both AR and AP. So these two are important. Account payable, account receivable, both are important. Both is to be must.
Even general ledger should be there, right? It's a prerequisite for financial.
That is must. See, without that, you cannot go for AR and AP.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was looking out for. What are general ledger, AR, AP? These are must and should modules per se. Is
Yes,
something
yes, yes,
around
correct,
that.
correct.
So
They
your
are the must
training
model there.
focus more so on these three in and out, like for us, because even with a layman kind of a knowledge on financials.
Yeah, yeah. I told you, see, ledgers I will be covering, posting rules, and I will also covering the AP and I also covering the AR. All I am covering. See, there is up to you need to put the concentration and understand. So total total finance module I am covering as part of this course. So
So
and
so
but
Mhm.
required also. Mm.
If you're saying that, like, what kind of duration is this? How many hours does this need for this training?
Yeah, since it's a big module, it will be a 30 classes, 25 to 30 classes.
You mean to say 30 hours?
It will be more also, uh, around 40 to 45 hours. 45 hours, you can say.
Complete all this. Okay.
Yeah.
So that is for both
But
functional and technical or only functional?
technical, this is only functional functional module what I'm coming. Technically, I'll be telling, but not deep into this technical. Basically, it's a functional course.
Okay.
When you say technical, like what we will be speaking about, Ganesh?
Technically, finance, it's very, very critical one actually here, because once you're dealing with the finance, then we won't believe just like, so basically integrations, you can say integrations, like creating integration and sending integration. Let's say we want to send the uh, invoices to the third party. So we have invoices, send the invoice to the third party. So by creating an integration, we do that. And similarly, lot of companies, it's because lot of companies are now they are global. Whether you are there in USA or you are there in India or Japan, Singapore, we need to do some transactions based on the currency. So we have to maintain the currency conversion rates in our system, in our workday. Basically, USD to EUR and EUR to USD, USD to INR, like that. So these currency conversion rates will be maintained by integration people. Integration will run every day. It will pick the data and update into the workday. So the transactions, the currency conversion transactions will be there in the workday by using the integrations. Those also come from the technical only. So basically, integration parts will be there in the technical part, technical one. Functional wise, only designing part. Yeah. Yes. Any questions? We running short of time. Oh,
Even though will you be able to provide the reports and the balance sheet or P&L statements, how you have to configure everything you are going to explain us?
yeah. Generally, year-end activities I'll be explaining as a part of the in this course. What activities will be there in, like closing accounts, and transferring accounts from one account to another account. So that I will be covering in that part of this course. The year-end activities I'll be covering. It is a huge
Yeah.
only reports, balance sheet, P&L. But within we have the time period of 40 to 45 hours. In that period only, I need to complete this. So uh, I'll be covering most of the things, but you need to do a lot of practice. Otherwise, even just listening, finance will not work, because you say I'll create one report and how to close it or how to close the accounts and all I'll explain it. Unless you practice, you will not be getting clear picture. So that is practice is the
And
most
also
important.
you can able to show that while you are explaining that. What about the asset accounting? You are going to show the transactions, how it is reflecting,
Yeah, yeah,
while
yeah.
you are
I'll be
making
showing.
the
See, yeah,
transaction
I'll
entries
be showing.
and the.
So yeah, correct. See, I told you asset will be covered with the depreciation rules. How to create depreciation rule, that I'll how to create the asset book, I'll tell you. How to create the depreciation rules, I'll tell you. Generally, straight depreciation, we have straight line depreciation and line 20, like different rules are there. I'll be telling as part of the course. I'll tell you how to create the depreciation rules. So once you attach the depreciation rule to your asset, then according to that yearly, the value will be depreciated as per the depreciation rule what we created. So this I'll be covering as part of the asset management. So basically, how to create the asset book, how to create the asset depreciation rule, either straight line or any other thing, that I'll explain. So once you know how to create the depreciation rule and how to attach that depreciation rule to the asset, then it is very easy. So on book, maybe it is very big, but once you go learning, it will be easy only. Don't worry, it is not that difficult, because I told Workday is very simple, easy, happy to understand.
Is there something like GMS, like financials? Like, is there anywhere we can work with some demo data during training?
Yeah, GMS tenant, we got the demo data in that one. There you can practice.
I'm sorry.
The GMS tenant, which
Uh-huh.
institute will be giving, that has got the demo data. You can practice.
We can practice with creating some
Yes,
of these things, right?
yes. I'll be showing how to create the same thing you can practice in your in your demo tenant. Yeah. Any other questions?
So how about any documentation would you provide, or
You need to talk to the institute. They will be providing documentation. Yeah. Documentation, tenant, practice, all will be taken care by the institute. You can talk to them, and
you have Workday exercise books or something like that?
uh, they do got certain documentation. And while explaining the course, also I'll tell you how to practice yourself. So if you see the documentation, we had huge documentation. It will it will be big to understand, but practice only the best thing to understand the things.
Right.
You can talk to the institute. They'll provide you details.
But you will show us all one cycle of it, right? Like how to
Right.
run
Yeah.
through the
That also.
one entire
See.
workflow. Mhm.
Yeah. See, if I'm talking about the fiscal schedule, I'll be showing how to create fiscal year, how to create fiscal periods, how to create the posting intervals and ledger. These four topics. Once I close this means you'll be knowing how to create. You can create yourself how fiscal year. You can create yourself how to create fiscal periods. You can create yourself as a intervals and you can create ledger. So all these four will be perfecting. Then only I'll go to the next like that. Though it's a module wise, I'm telling, but you also can create. I should get myself confidence that, okay, my guys can create supplier. They can create supplier. While creating supplier, what are things has to be taken care, what are things are required items, what are not required items. So that once
Okay, this is
I'll
on the business user side of things. How about would you show us how to configure these BPs? Like if there is a change in flow,
yeah.
like how to edit the BP, like how to change the routing. Is there something around that?
Normally, if you already got the HM experience, then you will be knowing business process. Everywhere BP is must. So if I am doing this supplier means I'm hitting the supplier BP. So that I'll explain. While creating BP, I'll open the supplier BP and tell you how to create supplier BP. Please don't worry. And while I'm creating invoice, I'm hitting the supplier invoice BP. That I'll be telling you how to open the supplier invoice BP and how to add the steps as part of this course. Financial wise, what are the things are there, which PPs are there, which PPs are covered, that will be explained during the course itself. Right, guys, if no questions are there, I wrap up the demo. Okay.
Thank you, Ganesh.
Yeah. Thank you all. Bye.
Thank you, Ganesh.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.